So when it comes to the environment, what happens when we've unlocked all the money and we've developed all the technologies, but there aren't enough people who are able or willing to make things happen at the scale we need to prevent catastrophe? What then? We can't afford to forget about humans who actually do all of the work that we need. And the Youth Environmental Service is an ambitious response to that question. We want to build a national movement of young people working together to help save the planet. I'm Billy Knowles. I've been leading on this project for the past 18 months. I've been operating independently, but from within the protective bubble of the Eden Project. And we're at a really exciting point in our journey, moving from idea to pilot, and I'm absolutely delighted to be able to share a little bit more today. So without a skilled, connected, passionate workforce, we're just not going to be able to deliver against our environmental ambitions. But this is critical because we're teetering on the edge of apocalypse. We don't have the people and skills to pull ourselves back. Estimates for the extent of the skills gap vary, but they're all big numbers. Most recently, Green Alliance estimated that we'd need, just to reach our 2035 targets, and in just 3 sectors, we'd need 120,000 new entry-level roles to be created. So what are we going to do about it? Well, it should be easy. More money comes in, more jobs get created, more training's available, the market just fixes it, right? Well, the problem's much deeper than that, because we have an environmental talent pipeline that just fundamentally doesn't work. There are too few opportunities available to too few people. The pipes are too thin. There are too few roles that genuinely are entry level. The pipework is complicated, it's disjointed. Opportunities are difficult to find, difficult to navigate, and difficult to get through. And the funnel draws from too narrow a pool. Structural barriers mean that the environmental sector is the second least diverse sector in the UK. This is Aidan. Aidan's a recent biology grad. He's looking to build a career in the environmental sector. But having grown up in London without, in his words, a typical conservation background, he's worried that his lack of practical knowledge, experience, and connections means he's never going to be able to get his foot in the door. And Aidan isn't alone. Too many young people that we've spoken to are unaware of or unable to access entry-level opportunities where they can make a real difference. Given how urgent this issue is, we don't have time for gentle nudges or sticking plaster policies. We need bold answers that expand the pipes, streamline the process, and redirect the funnel. And that's why our mission is for every young person to have the opportunity to spend a year doing paid environmental work. This is a mix between ideas like national service, sector-specific schemes like Teach First, and through it, we want to develop the next generation of environmentalists who can create the change we need, both through the work they do and the friends, families, and communities they influence. But that's not the only benefit. Just as important to building a skilled workforce that powers a green transition are the happy, healthy humans we'll be creating with tools to manage their own well-being and eco-anxiety. It's the social cohesion we're building, enabled by connecting communities through shared values and collective action. And it's the national stories that we can tell, things that we can look back on and give us hope in an increasingly chaotic future. In practice, this means galvanizing existing environmental organizations to create inclusive entry-level opportunities where the need is greatest, and then supporting young people to flourish within them. YES offers a framework of support for both young people and organizations to make this happen. From helping connect marginalized young people to accessible roles before the year begins, to a structured learning and networking program that helps them develop skills and the connections they'll need in the future. And all the way through to supporting them as they take the next step in their career, either in an environmental role or outside of the sector. Now, importantly, we're not looking to fund these roles directly ourselves. Instead, we want to unlock funding and build appetite to create entry-level positions across different environmental sectors and different kinds of organizations, public, private, or charitable. And it's already working. What's great is that so far we've already unlocked £2.5 million in funding for the New to Nature programme. Running through this and next year, we'll support 95 young people from diverse and disadvantaged backgrounds into nature-focused organisations for a year of paid work. It's our opportunity to pilot a version of what YES might be in a real-world setting. Working alongside Groundwork UK, the Prince's Trust and others, we're using this to build our own capacity, test and refine our approach, and create a body of evidence that we'll need as we begin to scale. Which brings me back to Aidan. So we met Aidan earlier. He's actually one of the first trainees. He joined the Bumblebee Conservation Trust in January. Since joining, he's been getting to grips with bumblebee surveys, managing volunteers, leading walk and talks with members of the public. He's even been able to get his brush cutter certificate, which will be invaluable to helping him secure future employment in a sector that he loves. When we spoke, he told me how helpless he felt before and how lucky he feels now to have had the opportunity to build his career in a sector he loves with paid hands-on work. Imagine if every young person was as lucky as Aidan. So looking ahead, after 18 months, momentum's building, but obviously we can't afford to let up. And alongside nailing our first pilot, we want to make sure that we don't lose focus on the bigger picture, the possible pathways there are to achieving our vision, which means alongside that first priority, we'll be focusing on 2 additional areas. First, with the general election on the horizon, we need to show that yes could be a workable, popular policy proposition on either side of the aisle. And second, we want to establish what comes next. So where New to Nature is nationally spread and is focused exclusively on conservation, the next pilot will be regional and cross-sector, offering a different template for yes that could be replicable across the country. And obviously to do this, we do need funding. So far, we've operated on a shoestring, and we're keen to continue doing that, especially given the current social and economic climate. Our next phase of work will require only £375,000, which will take us through to autumn of next year, covering the expansion of a team as well as costs specific to each of those strategic priorities. So far, we've managed to raise about half of that from organisations like the Heritage Fund and the Berggruen Institute, and we've got hopefully more to follow from the Pears Foundation and the Lung Trust. And we're really proud that as such a small, young organisation, we've been able to bring such prestigious funders on board. £20,000 of your generous support today will go a long way to helping us secure the next 18 months. It'll allow me to build a team who can focus on maximising our impact, and it'll mean that I don't have to work on my own for much longer. A youth environmental service, scaled nationally and implemented properly, has the potential to be truly transformative. It doesn't work if it's just me at my desk firing out emails. We want to build a movement of support to make it happen, from the young people making a positive impact to the policy wonks turning it into a viable solution, the environmental organisations who direct all of this energy to where it's needed most, and people like you who can continue to support us as we grow. So help us build the next generation of environmentalists, ready to save the planet together.